people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new video. I'm so excited to film today's video because fantasy is my favorite genre, so without any further ado, the first book on this list is called The Goodwill Girls. This book is a YA fantasy following a young, black, sapphic main character who's on a journey to find justice, revenge, and freedom in a country that doesn't want her to do that necessarily, after her sister accidentally kills a man because she's on the run from a brothel with all of her friends. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but basically this book is so good. First of all, the world building is so excellent and it's so innovative and it's absolutely so unique. Second of all, the plot is so intriguing and it's so interesting and it's absolutely so thrilling. Third of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. The sapphic romance in this book is so lovely. This book is also the first of a duology, and the sequel is so good as well, and we love to see it. This book is so underrated, and it's absolutely so good in every single element. In the characters, in the friendship group dynamic, in the plot, in the world building, in the sapphic romance, in the sapphic representation. Like literally, this book is so good. So anyway, with all that said, I would highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Blood Scion. This book is a YA Nigerian-inspired fantasy, and it follows a young girl who's planning to infiltrate the army of her enemies because her enemies have colonized her people. She's a magical being as well. This book is literally so good. First of all, the world building is so excellent, and it's absolutely so well done. The setting is literally so well researched, and it's so easy to visualize, and it's also so easy to fall in. You know what I mean? Like the characters are so well developed and so distinct. The plot was so intriguing and absolutely so thrilling. Like literally, this book is so good, and I'm so excited to read the sequel. I don't know when it comes out. I'm assuming next year. But anyway, this book is so good. It's absolutely worth all of its hype and so much more. Literally, the world building is so unique, and I keep going back to that because it's so rich and so lush, and this book is so good. The plot is so intriguing, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. All of the different relationships were so well developed. This book is so excellent, and it deserves all of its hype and so much more. And I apologize in advance if this book review is so redundant. But anyway, with all that said, I'm so excited to read the sequel, and I would highly, highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Blood Like Magic. This book is a YA urban science fiction fantasy that follows a young girl who must sacrifice her first love in order to save her family's magic, except that she's never fallen in love before, so she's in a bit of a pickle. This book is literally so good, and it's one of my 5-star favorites of this year because it was absolutely so excellent. And I'm so excited to read the sequel, which I believe comes out in July or August, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, first of all, the world building was so excellent, and it was so easy to visualize and so easy to fall in love with. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The romance was so lovely and so well developed, and all of the different family dynamics were literally so well done. The casual queer representation was so lovely and so good. Both the main character's love interest and one of her cousins were transgender, and we love to see it. The plot was so thrilling and so intriguing and absolutely so interesting. This book is literally so good, and it's totally worth all of its hype and so much more. And like I mentioned, I'm so excited to read the sequel. So with all that said, I would highly, highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called This Poison Halt. This book is a YA urban fantasy retelling of The Secret Garden, and the main character is black and sapphic. Again, I'm so excited to read the sequel. I think it comes out this summer or this fall, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, I'm so excited to read it because this book was so good. First of all, the world building was so excellent, and it was so rich and so lush and literally so well developed and so easy to visualize. Second of all, the characters were so well developed and so distinct. Third of all, the sapphic representation and the sapphic romance was literally so lovely and absolutely so well done. I have no idea which direction the romance will take in the sequel, but I'm so excited to see what it will be. The plot was so thrilling and absolutely so intriguing. I had low expectations for this book because the author previously wrote Cinderella is Dead the year prior, and I didn't like that book as much as everybody else did, so I wasn't exactly planning on reading this book, but I'm so glad that I did, because this book is so good, and frankly, I think it's better than Cinderella is Dead. But anyway, with all of that said, this book is so good. I'm absolutely so excited to continue the series and read the sequel whenever it comes out, so with all of that said, I would definitely highly recommend this book. The next book on this list is called Bone Down, Rise Up. This book is a YA horror fantasy. Urban fantasy, I guess, and it follows a young, sapphic Dominican main character as she's starting to pay more attention to the mysterious disappearances that have been happening in the Bronx for the past year because her mom's mysterious illness seems to be related. This book is so good. It's marketed as Get Out meets Stranger Things, which I think is a pretty good comparison, even though I've only seen 4 episodes of Stranger Things, and I never really continued the show because I wasn't really that intrigued, really, by the plot or by the characters. But anyway, these characters in this book are actually queer, and it's not up to the audience's interpretation because the sapphic romance in this book is literally so well developed, and it's absolutely so lovely. The characters themselves are so well developed and so distinct. The plot is so intriguing and absolutely so interesting, and the world building is so interesting and so well done. I typically don't like reading supernatural horror thrillers like this one, but I'm so glad that I read this one because it was not predictable at all. It was absolutely so immersive. I would gladly read more from this author in the future because their writing is so intriguing. So anyway, with all of that said, this book is so good and it's absolutely so underrated. So with all of that said, I would highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Wings of Ebony. This book is a YA urban fantasy following a young black teenager from Houston who has her entire world upended when her magical godly ancestry is discovered, and she must embrace her magical identities in order to help save both worlds. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but basically, this book is so good. First of all, the world building is so innovative, and it's absolutely so unique, and I love the parallels to the real world. Second of all, the plot is so thrilling, and it's absolutely so intriguing. Third of all, the characters are so well developed and so distinct. Fourth of all, the friendships are so lovely and so wonderful. Literally, this book is so good. The sequel is a really solid sequel as well. Literally, this book is so awesome, and I'm so excited to read the author's middle grade debut in, I think, August, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, this book is literally so good and it's so well done because it's so rich and so well developed in every single element, in the world building, in the plot, in the characters, in the platonic and romantic dynamics. Literally, this book is so awesome and it's totally worth all its hype and so much more. So with all that said, I would highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least because I'm certain you've heard of it, is Raybearer. This book is a YA fantasy following a young girl who's sworn to protect somebody that she's also supposed to destroy, and it's set in a world where loyalty is more important than anything. This book is absolutely so fantastic. The second book in this duology is one of my 5-star favorites of this year, and I absolutely loved it, and this book was also so good. First of all, the world building is so fantastic, and it's absolutely so well developed and so rich. Second of all, the plot was so intriguing and absolutely so thrilling and so well done. The characters were so well developed and so distinct. The friendships were so well developed and so lovely. The romance as well was so wonderful. This book is totally worth all its hype and so much more. And like I mentioned, the sequel was also really good. And frankly, I think the sequel is better than this book. But anyway, this book was so fantastic, and it's so amazing, and it's so well developed in really every single element. And this author is worth all of their hype and so much more. So anyway, with all of that said, I would highly recommend this book. So, in conclusion, I really enjoyed filming this video since, first of all, fantasy is my favorite genre, and second of all, I love reading stories where authors incorporate their own culture into their books. I think it's so cool and so fascinating. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the rainbow emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!